All right, Champions League playoffs. Buckle up, everybody, because we're diving deep into a matchup that's got all the ingredients for an absolute thriller.
Couldn't agree more.
Sporting CP going head-to-head with Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, the stakes. They don't get much higher than this, folks, because we're talking about a spot in that oh-so-coveted last 16. We've been digging into the stats, revisiting some of their past encounters, and, well, let's just say the data's whispering some pretty tantalizing hints about how this one might unfold.
Yeah, it's a real clash of styles. We're talking about Sporting CP. They've been an absolute fortress at home. But then you've got Borussia Dortmund, known for their attacking fireworks, but maybe a little bit of a history of stumbling on the road.
Yeah.
Especially in these knockout rounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So speaking of Sporting's home turf advantage, let's talk about that because it's pretty impressive. They haven't tasted defeat at Estadio José Alvalade this whole season.
It's true.
Under their new manager, Rui Borges, they've turned that stadium into a stronghold. And you know what else? The last time these two teams faced off at that very stadium, back in the 2021-22 season, Sporting walked away with a 3-1 victory. I mean, think about that.
Oh.
You have to wonder, does that past win give them, like a psychological edge going into this one?
It's definitely possible.
Right.
That kind of win can really, infuse a team with confidence. But you also have to keep in mind, Sporting, they had to really scratch and claw their way to this stage. They barely squeaked through on goal difference, which means they haven't exactly been, steamrolling their opponents.
Right.
So it really begs the question, will that home crowd advantage, will that be enough to give them that extra push, that extra oomph they need to overcome a team like Dortmund? I mean, it's a tough one.
It is. And on the flip side, Dortmund. They've had like a really, really strong European campaign so far. And I don't know what it is, but they seem to have this almost uncanny ability to come out on top against Portuguese teams.
It's true. They have a better record against them than any other team they play regularly.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And then you look at their goal scoring record.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wowzers. They were second only to Barcelona in the league phase.
Yeah.
Just raining goals.
Exactly. They're like an offensive juggernaut. And there's always a but, isn't there?
Of course there's a but.
Historically speaking, they haven't had the easiest time winning away legs in these knockout rounds. Like in their last 12 away games, they only managed to win 2.
Really?
Yeah. And what's really interesting is this isn't just a Dortmund thing. Like a lot of teams, they have this harder time mirroring that home form when they're on the road, especially when the pressure's on, like it is in the Champions League knockout stage. It makes you think, what is it about playing away from home that can just kind of throw a team off?
Right. It's like, is it a tactical thing?
Maybe.
Is it psychological?
Possibly.
Or is it some crazy combination of both?
It's probably, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Tactically, you see some teams kind of retreat into their shells a little bit when they're away.
Right.
Playing it safe. They focus more on, that solid defense, waiting for a chance to counterattack. And they kind of abandon their usual gung-ho attacking style. And then psychologically, you're playing in a stadium full of hostile fans, and that can definitely mess with a team's decision-making, their composure. It's a whole different ballgame.
Oh, yeah.
But I think with Dortmund, their new manager, what's his name? Niko Kovac, he might just be their secret weapon.
Oh, interesting.
This guy's got like an incredible track record in away games from his time with Bayern Munich.
Oh, yeah, Bayern.
He never lost a single away match in the Champions League with them.
Wow.
So that experience, that know-how he brings,
Right.
could be the key to helping Dortmund bust through those historical roadblocks.
That is fascinating. So you've got Sporting, fueled by their home crowd, itching to break free from that recent Champions League slump. And then you've got Dortmund, the attacking powerhouse. They're looking to exercise those away game demons. But beyond the teams themselves, what about the players?
Oh, the players.
Are there any key matchups that you're particularly excited to see?
Well, I think this game could very well come down to a good old-fashioned goal-scoring duel.
I love those.
Between two absolute titans of the net. We're talking Sporting's Viktor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
And Dortmund's Serhou Guirassy. Now, Gyökeres, he was Sporting's top scorer in the group stage, racking up 6 goals. Pretty impressive. But then you've got Guirassy, and get this, tied for the top score overall with 9 goals.
9 goals. That's insane. What makes this Guirassy such a goal-scoring machine?
Well, Guirassy, he's a special kind of striker. Like, this guy, he's incredibly smart. He just has a knack for finding those pockets of space in the box. He's so
Mhm.
clinical in front of the goal. And it's not just brute force with him. He's got, like, real finesse.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a little fun fact for you. If he scores even one goal in this tie, he'll shatter Dortmund's all-time scoring record for a single Champions League season.
Oh, wow.
Talk about pressure. And then, of course, you've got Sporting's Gyökeres.
Yeah.
He's more of a physical presence on the field, a real nightmare for defenders. So watching how Dortmund's defense tries to handle him, that'll be a show in itself.
Absolutely. And I feel like based on everything we're saying, we are definitely in for a goal fest here.
I think so.
I mean, both Sporting and Dortmund were among those select few teams who found the back of the net in every single game of the league phase.
It's got to tell you something.
You're telling me. They've got the firepower, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not just about scoring goals. It's about who can lock down that defense on the night.
Sporting will be looking to use that home field advantage to throw Dortmund off their game, disrupt their rhythm. But Dortmund, they need to stay cool, stay focused, and execute that game plan, even under pressure. It's going to be a test.
Big time. So to bring it all together, we've got Sporting CP riding that wave of home crowd energy, trying to bust out of a recent Champions League rut. And then you've got Borussia Dortmund, the offensive juggernaut, trying to break free from those historical away game struggles. So tell me, what do you think? What's going to be the deciding factor in this showdown?
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's so hard to say. I mean, if Sporting can really tap into that home crowd energy and disrupt Dortmund's attack, they've got a real chance to pull off an upset.
Right.
But if Dortmund can keep their cool, play their game, even with all that pressure, their experience, and that relentless offense, might just be too much for Sporting to handle. Honestly, it's a total toss-up. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
As you're gearing up to watch this Champions League clash unfold, here's something to ponder. Will Sporting's home field advantage, their sheer determination, will that be enough to overcome Dortmund's experience and that crazy offensive power? Or will Dortmund finally shatter that away game curse and move on to the next round? Let us know your thoughts, your predictions. We want to hear them.
Yeah, let us know.
This is going to be epic.
It is.
All right.
All right.